Hello, my name's Teddy and welcome back to my channel. And in this video, we're going to go through a beginner's guide to Amazon FBA. And I'm going to be giving you a step-by-step crash course into how to do Amazon FBA in 2022. So you know exactly how to start your own product business next year. Now, selling products is what most people think of when they are asked what sort of business they want to start. And that makes perfect sense, as products are what most people use daily. You know, only psychopaths start businesses like Facebook. Sorry, Mark, if you're watching. But most of the businesses that people start are product businesses. And Amazon is the best way to start a products business, as it's relatively easy compared with doing it on your own site. Now, this video is an overview of everything you need to be doing in order to get started on Amazon FBA. And on the screen right now, I have a breakdown of everything we're going to cover today, starting with the all-important strategy for finding a product that will sell. And this is one of my favorite things to talk about in these videos, as it's what separates the successful sellers from the guys who aren't really going to do as well. And I've got a few secret tips to share with you throughout this video, so watch the whole thing. But finding products is basically your business strategy, and so we're going to cover a lot of that today. And then I'm going to go through the whole process of building that product to getting your first sales, and all the bits that go in between, and building a business that you can be super proud of and maybe even sell it in the future, which is my plan for 2022. So subscribe if you want to follow along with that journey with me. Now, what is so cool about Amazon FBA is that you can start your own business and sell your products globally. Now, this is amazing. And in my business, I sell all my products in the US, even though I'm based in the UK. Being able to ship your products all around the world to people you've never met and get into global marketplaces. Years ago, that would have taken absolutely ages to build a business like that. Seriously cool. And you know, you always have those little product ideas that you come up with when you're having a few beers with your buddies. Well, with Amazon FBA, you can actually make that product that your idea is and sell it and actually start a business. So there's no more excuses. Now, one thing that you need to make sure you're understanding about Amazon is that obviously you're going to need some money in order to get started. Now, it depends how many of your products you're planning to sell, and this will come down to your business plan, but you'll probably need a few £1,000s or dollars in order to get this business started. Just remember, it is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Whatever people on the internet tell you, you're not going to become a millionaire overnight. But it is still really good business, and I always tell people this in webinars and in consulting sessions that I host, that Amazon it's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but it is a really good chance for you to start a business and grow your business quite quickly, relatively easy compared to having your own site, and you can get your products in front of a new audience. Now, it is a bit more competitive than it was a few years ago, but so is everything else in the world, so just get started now. Now, I'm going to give you a lot of information in this video, so get your pen and paper out. It's quite a long video. I know it's like about over 40 minutes long, but if you subscribe and then you can turn on notifications, then you can come back to this video as a reference later on. And then you'll also hear when I've got a new video, if that's something that you might want to do. Also, if you've got tired fingers and you don't want to type or write all the stuff down from this video, or you're cooking or shaving or whatever it is you do whilst surfing YouTube, then I've also written a lot of this information down into a really super long article, and I put a link to that article in the show notes for all you lazy fellas that don't want to write stuff down during the video. But anyway, let's get on with the main content. So firstly, let's go into a little bit about what Amazon is and why the opportunity is so good. Because when I speak to people, I hear a lot of people say, oh, it's way too competitive. It's much too competitive for me to start a business. Whenever I look for products, I can't find a niche that I can get into. Well, Amazon is a bit more competitive than it was. That's true. I can't really deny that. Like, everything's getting more competitive all the time as more people start to sell online. However, there's still loads of opportunities out there, and this will come down to your strategy, and we'll go into this in way more detail in just a second. But usually one of the reasons that people say it's too competitive is they've just found some dodgy YouTuber who's helped them find some crappy product off Alibaba and chucked it straight onto Amazon. Now, that's not going to work. It's way too competitive for you to do something like that. What you need to do is you need to have a plan for how you're going to get your product to sell. But you know, that could work. Like, you could get really lucky, you could get a product off Alibaba and you could be the first one to sell it. But it's unlikely, it could be risky. I'd rather just invest my money somewhere else if that's what I was planning to do. But Amazon is still a really good opportunity, and one of the main reasons is that you can expand your business globally, and it's relatively easy. And as I mentioned before, all the products I sell in the US are in the US, even though I'm based in London. Now, I know lots of sellers who are selling hundreds, thousands, even hundreds of thousands of pounds or dollars each month just on Amazon. Now, I personally sell well over £20,000 a month, and that's just on Amazon Handmade, which I go into in a different video. But in order to do this profitably, you need to make sure you're doing the analysis. Now it can seem a little bit intimidating, but just try not to get overwhelmed because there's lots of people out there giving lots of conflicting information. Now I've been through a few terms already in this video that you might not understand, so I'll just explain what those ones are. So the first ones are FBA. Now FBA stands for Fulfilled by Amazon. That's what FBA stands for. It's not a very original name, but there you go. Now FBA is Amazon's fulfillment service. So how it works is you make your products, or you buy your products, and then you ship them to Amazon's warehouse, and then Amazon ship them to the products using their next day Prime delivery service. Now the reason this is so good is, firstly, you can sell in the US like I do, but secondly, the customers get Prime next day shipping, which means they can get their products next day, and it's a huge incentive for them to buy. Now this is great for you, it's great for the customers, and it means that the conversion rate on Amazon is really, really high because Amazon have that trust and the customers know they can get their products the next day. If you're selling on Amazon, you don't have to do FBA though, you can also do what's called FBM. Now this stands for Fulfilled by Merchants, and this is Amazon's merchant fulfillment service. So this is when you're selling your products on Amazon, but you're doing all of the postage and all of the customer service yourself. Now, this could be good if you're based in the US or you're based in the country where you want to sell. But for most people, FBA is going to be what they're doing, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Now, when you're selling on FBA, this video, what I'm talking about today, is about what's called private label. Now, private label is a way of starting your own brand, essentially, and that's how you're going to make your products stand out from the others, by starting your own brand. Now, there are other ways to sell on Amazon, such as arbitrage, which is where you buy products, like go to Walmart and buy a load of these mugs for cheap and then sell them on Amazon. We're not covering that today, it's a completely different part of Amazon. We're just going to be covering private label, which is where you design your own products and start to build a brand, because making a brand is how you stand out. Anyway, the first thing we're going to go through in this video is how do you find products to sell? Now, when you're looking for products to sell, you want to find products that have low competition, but also have people searching for them. And these are some of the terms we're going to go through today. So low competition, this is how many people you're competing with on the page. Now, obviously you don't want to be competing with too many people, because otherwise it's going to be too competitive and it's going to be difficult for your products to sell. If you think about this, on Amazon, if you go and buy something, say you're looking for this mug and you're searching for Kingfisher mug, whatever this is. If I go onto Amazon and search for Kingfisher mug, if I see loads of Kingfisher mugs on there and they've all got loads of reviews, and then they see your version on there and it's got no reviews, a customer is unlikely to buy that one because they're more likely to buy the one that's got a bit more customer trust. It's human nature. So this is why we need to find products that aren't too competitive so that we can really start to sell our products. The search volume, that's how many people are looking for that product each month. And I'll go into a little bit how we can work that out in a second, but the search volume is how many people are looking for that keyword per month. So firstly, you need to think about how you're going to find products that you can sell on Amazon. Now, what you need, there's a few ways of doing this. Now, firstly, obviously, you might have a product idea in your head already, and that's great. So if you've got a product idea already, you can skip to the next step where I show you how you can analyze that product on Amazon. But if you haven't got a product idea yet, you need to get some inspiration for how you're going to find a product. Now, obviously, you can just have a look around your house and think about products that you use on a day-to-day basis to see if you can find something that might be a good product to sell on Amazon. But if you can't think of anything, then here are a few tips for you to find a product idea. Now, if you have a look above me right now, there's a link to a video which I made before, which goes through how some of the tips I'm talking about now, all about how to get inspiration to find product ideas. But the first one I like to look at is Google Images. Now, Google Images is a great way for finding products. It sounds really basic, but it's actually really good because say you have a product idea, you can type it into Google Images and loads and loads and loads of different products will come up. Now, this is amazing for inspiration for working out how you can get different ideas for how to do a product. Another lovely one that I use all the time is Pinterest. I've made a video about how to do Pinterest research, and there's a link to that in the chat. But Pinterest is a bit like Google Images in that there's just tons and tons of different ideas on there for different types of products. The problem with Google Images and Pinterest is that you need to have an idea in order to find different ways of making it, but it's a great way to get inspiration for finding a new way of making your product. Now, the good thing about Pinterest is it's really right ahead of the trends. Like, a lot of people are on there talking about the new trends or the new styles or what colors are trending at the moment. Now, this is great for you because you want to be selling products that are trending at the moment, because obviously that's going to sell better on Amazon. So Pinterest is really good. Now, the other place I like to look for new product ideas is Etsy. Now, Etsy is amazing for getting new product ideas because handmade products are always really quirky, really unique, really different, and you can get inspiration for how to make your products. Etsy is also really, really good for finding packaging ideas because handmade products are often really nicely packaged, and packaging is a really good way to make your products stand out from the crowd. Now, the next two are two of my favourite ways of getting product ideas. And the first one is Kickstarter or Indiegogo or other crowdfunding places. But what's so good about them is these are places where people go and get funding from the crowd. I guess that's why it's called crowdfunding. And that's where they go to get funding for their new ideas. Now, these new ideas could be anything, and it could be something really modern or something really new that hasn't been on the market yet. Now, this is really inspiring to see. Like the other day, for example, I saw some vegan cat food and it was a delivery service thing. And I've never seen that before. Now, vegan cat food is not something that I personally want to start selling, but it was inspiring to see all this new stuff being made. Then, my absolute favourite place to source products from, or to get product ideas from, is trade shows. Now, trade shows are amazing. Like, they're all over the world, different countries. I've been to India, Vietnam, China. Now, these trade shows all around the world are so amazing to go to because you get to meet the suppliers, you get to speak to them, you get to get the best rates, you get to get really good ideas for all these new products, and it's amazing. It's really good fun. And also, you get to go on basically a free holiday because you can expense it through your work. Now, the best thing to do with trade shows is to go to them in person, but obviously at the moment that can be a little bit tricky. Trying to go to India or something like that might be a bit difficult at the moment because of the restrictions. So the second best thing is to go to virtual trade shows. Now, you might not have heard of virtual trade shows before, but they do exist, and there's a really good website called 10times.com. 10times.com, I've just written it on the screen. And 10times.com has all of the trade shows all around the world. So you can find one that's close to you. Plus, you can also find one maybe that has a virtual trade show so that you can go to a virtual trade show, speak to suppliers online, or get some ideas for some different products. It's fantastic. It's a really, really good way of finding new product ideas. But all of the things that I've talked about just now can basically be summarized as, what is your strategy going to be for finding new products? Now, this is obviously quite a top level intro we've just gone into. I have gone into a lot more detail in my course. There's a link to that in my show notes if you're interested in that. If you're not interested, obviously that's fine. We can just carry on going through this video and you can take the free notes from this. But you can't just give some suppliers lots of money in India or in China or something like that and hope that your products are going to sell on Amazon. It doesn't work like that. You need to put in the efforts to do the evaluation. Now, the evaluation is how you work out if your products are going to be a success on Amazon. And to do that, we obviously need to go onto Amazon. So we're going to go onto Amazon now and have a look. And assuming you've done my steps 1 to 3 and you've gone to a trade show or you've gone to Kickstarter and you've had a great idea for a new product, and the idea you've come up with is coconut cups. We've skipped a few steps and we've come up with the idea of coconut cups. Now, I like this product idea because it is so easy to make. Just a disclaimer, I'm not saying this is a good idea to go for. I don't want loads of people after this flooding the market with coconut cups to sell on Amazon, but I think it's quite a good product to make. It's easy to make, it'll be quite cheap to source, and I think it could potentially be good. Anyway, let's start having a look at coconut cups. So first thing I do when I'm evaluating a product idea is I just put it onto Amazon to see what the market looks like. So the first thing I've noticed is there's coconut cups here, which is good, and some of them are sold with spoons, so that could be a nice added extra. I'm noticing that some of them are different amounts, so there's like 4 there. I've noticed that some have spoons, some don't. And then I'm seeing that there are quite a few coconut cups on there, so I'm thinking this is potentially quite a competitive product because you can see there's lots of coconut cups, they all look quite similar. But what you need to do when you're thinking about how to evaluate a product is you should always be thinking about how you can make your product stand out from the crowd. Now, this is really important, and this is called adding a point of difference. And we'll go into this in a bit more detail, but a point of difference could be a different size, or it could be a different color, or it could be a different shape, or it could be a bundle of things. You could have more than one thing in the same box. This is all a way of making a point of difference to make your product stand out from the crowd. Now, I'm looking at coconut cups, they all look quite similar to me. First thing I've noticed here though is that this one has a little pattern on, and that seems to be the only one with a pattern on there. And if we keep going down, and there's another one here which has got like white inside. Now that's potentially quite interesting because it's showing you that there's different ways of doing it. I'm thinking now, okay, if there's ones with white inside, that could be a way of making mine stand out. Like, could I do a different color to make mine stand out from the crowd? Now this is actually quite interesting because, you know, the one that's got color in has actually got a slightly higher price. Now, one of the criteria I look for when I'm trying to evaluate a product is the price. Like, I always want to be trying to sell my product for over £20 or dollars really, because if you go too much below that, it can be difficult to have a good enough profit margin once you factor in things like returns. So having a look at this product, I think, right, well, I'm gonna try and make a point of difference. So going through some of the techniques I went through earlier, I'm gonna go and see if I can find a way of making a point of difference. So firstly, I've got open here Google, so Google Images. Now, Google Images is, as I said before, it shows you so many different variations of products. It's amazing. And immediately, as soon as I search on Google Images, you can see here there's one with blue in it. Now that looks really nice to me. And they're selling it for £24, so that's quite a lot more money. I don't know if you'd get that on Amazon, but what's quite good about looking at Google is these top level results. These are all shops, and this could be a really good way for you to find other products for sale. So if I open this one, for example, I should open it in a new tab. I've never heard of this Eco Bravo shop, so I don't know what's going to happen. But you can see they've got some nice colours. They've got different colours on here. You could do red or purple. But what's quite good about these sites is they often have people who bought this also bought this. So if we have a look down here, let's have a look if they got it. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you may also like. Now, immediately you're starting to see products that other people, this is all basically free product ideas for you. Now, this could be interesting, a cork-like sleeve for your bottle. I can see how that could be quite interesting. There's lots of eco-friendly products on here, like eco-friendly replacements for things. So already, just by having one product idea, we're starting to see other potential product ideas on here. Now, this is a really good thing, and that's what I like so much about Google Images. I've also put the product into Etsy to see what comes up. And Etsy is great again because you get different ideas of packaging, you get different ideas for how to take photos for your products, get different ideas for colours, like here's a new colour that I haven't seen before, and another one that's got like an inlay, like a shiny blue. So there's a few more product ideas on here. Another one I could look at is Pinterest. Now Pinterest, again, it's a bit like Google Images, it has lots of different designs. And I found this one earlier, which really stood out to me. It's a bit gary, but you know, it's got lots of really bright colours on there. And once you go below Pinterest, you can see other products that are kind of linked to that. So again, this is more product ideas. It's all about just doing this often to get better at it as you go along, because I think product hunting is definitely a skill. It's something that you can work at, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. I don't think it's just a case of, unless you're Elon Musk or something like that, you're not just born one day as a great product hunter. It's something you've got to work at. But anyway, that's one way of trying to find a point of difference. But you also need to do the evaluation. Now, the evaluation is difficult to do on Amazon without a tool, because as we can see from this page, it is very competitive. Like, there are lots of different coconut bowls on here. So it might be a bit difficult for you to stand out from the crowd. That's why we have some tools. Now, the tool I like to use is called Helium 10. Now, there are other tools around. There's also Jungle Scout, and there are some other ones like Merchant Words, but the one I like to use the most is Helium 10. I think it's got the best user interface. I think the data is really good, and I just find it the easiest to use. And one of the tools they have on here is called X-Ray. Now, X-Ray, it scans a page and gives you some information about the listings on that page, such as the monthly sales. Now, this is amazing information to see, because what you might find is that there's people on here making loads and loads of money from coconut cups. Like this person at the top here, if you hover over here, is $30, and they're doing 567 sales a month, and that's about $17,000 per month. That is absolutely mind-blowing. $17,000 a month just on coconut cups. That's ridiculous. I don't even know what to say about that. I would love to make $17,000 a month selling coconut cups. But you can see from here, you can start seeing where people are making money. Now, this is interesting because I can see on here, there are lots of people making money. So if you could work out a way of making a point of difference and making your product stand out, that could be a really good way of you standing out from the crowd and also starting to make money. Like here's one of the colourful ones. Like this one here is one of the colourful bowls. And that's just for one bowl, and it's $12.99, and it's selling 105, which is $1,000 a month, over $1,000 a month, $1,363 a month. If you had a few of those, you know, you're starting to have a proper full-time business. So this is a really good way of assessing the products. Now, one of the reasons I like this tool so much is because basically Amazon is a massive search engine, a bit like Google. And when you search for products on Amazon, it's a bit different to Google, because when you search for products on Google, they just want to show you relevant articles. So that could be like an article, it could be a recipe, or it could be, you know, how to make a coconut cup, for example. Now it's a bit different to Amazon. Amazon's always trying to sell you stuff. That might sound obvious, but Amazon's always trying to sell you stuff. So all the products that Amazon shows you are products that Amazon think you're going to buy, given that you've searched for a particular search term. So on here, for example, I've searched for coconut bowl. Now, Amazon is showing me products it thinks I'm going to buy. Now, the products it thinks I'm most likely to buy is usually at the top of the page. And this is called the organic rank. And Amazon has a rank for all of their search terms or keywords. So this keyword for this search term is coconut bowl. Keyword and search term, basically the same thing. But for this time, the search term is coconut bowl. Now the products that Amazon thinks I'm most likely to buy is this one here, this number 5. The reason these top 4 aren't the ones that it thinks I'm most likely to buy is that these are sponsored. You can see a little SP there. If I go to the top of the page, I can show you that. But basically, you can pay to appear at the top of searches. We'll go into that a bit later. But if you see here, these ones are sponsored, it says sponsored there. So the products I think that Amazon thinks I'm most likely to buy is this one here. And the second most likely is this one here. Now this is important to know because nearly all the sales on Amazon are on page 1. So you need to find keywords that you can get onto page 1 for. Now, as we can see from this page, nearly every product on this page is a coconut bowl. So this could be quite difficult to get onto page 1 for. So what you want to find is, say you've thought of your point of difference and you want to do a product that has a colour. So say, we'll look at this one, for example. What we can do is we can actually have a look at the keywords that this product is ranking for by using a different tool within Helium 10. And that one's called Cerebro. And what Cerebro does is it's another Helium 10 tool. And it basically scans a listing for keywords and then gives you some information about them, such as the search volume. Now the reason the search volume is important is part of the second part of the evaluation. So the search volume is how many people are searching for a particular keyword each month. So if you think about it, you've got to think about the supply and the demand of a product. So we can already see that the demand is kind of there, like we can see that there's lots of coconut cups, we can see that people are buying them. That's part of the supply, the demand. The second part of the demand is what are the keywords that people are looking for to find a product, and how many times is that keyword being used per month, or how popular is it? And that's why a search term is so important. So we can see for this product, you can see it up here, it's this blue coconut bowl. What Cerebro does is it tells you what keywords this product is ranking for. And if you remember, the ranking is really important. Now the important bits of information I look at are the phrase down here, and that's the keyword. And also the search volume, that's how many people are searching for that keyword per month. So we know that coconut catch-all bowl, what else have we got here? Shell potpourri. So for shell potpourri, there's 398 searches per month. And this product is organic rank number 9. So when a customer searches for shell potpourri, then this product is at the front, is number 9 on the searches. And you can kind of validate this by clicking on that link there. And it opens up the search term in another page. There you go, you can see it over here. Now this data is not always 100% accurate because it is just a guide for how to read into Amazon. This is exactly what you've got to do. It's just a guide showing you, giving you help for how to get to where you want to be. So you can see that Helium 10 is really, really powerful in having an idea. Now what I've just showed you is how to use Helium 10 if you've got a product idea. But if you haven't got a product idea, what you need to do is get inspiration to find one. So another tool that Helium 10 have is called Black Box. Now how Black Box works is you can put in different criteria that maybe fit your criteria or your strategy for building a business, and you can find products to sell under that criteria. For example, you can type in here your monthly revenue. So you could say, I want to find products that have a minimum 1,000 monthly revenue and a maximum 5,000 monthly revenue. And as I said before, I want them to be minimum $20. And I don't want there to be too many reviews because otherwise it'd be difficult to compete with. So I'll put 50 in there and put the review rating, we'll leave that one. So let's just put in this here, and then you can choose your categories. Now, I don't like to select all categories because some aren't really suitable for selling on Amazon, but I really like arts and crafts. I really like baby. I quite like beauty, even though it's a gated category. I don't like these ones, they're electronics, don't really like clothing, don't like currencies. Computers and accessories, not really too much. Grocery, yeah, could do a bit of grocery. Handmade products, sure. Health, household, home and kitchen. Home and kitchen is a great one, it's a really big one. Kitchen and dining. Let's just select a few of these. Sports and outdoors, tools and improvements. Right, and click search. So now what Backbox is going to do is going to show me some products that fit the criteria that we've just put in. Now that's really cool. This is really powerful. So this is a really good way of finding products, and I think you shouldn't really underestimate this. So here are some ideas. And these might be ideas that you'd never had before. So this is some aromatherapy products, and it's doing $2,000 a month. Could be a nice, interesting idea. Here is a hose. It's doing $2,000 a year. What's this? Some correspondence cards. What's this? A wheelchair armrest. I mean, that could be a great product to do. This one's doing $1,200 a month. Bit low, but you could maybe find one that's doing more than that. What other products have got here? Natural sleep aid, nearly $5,000 a month. So you can see how powerful this product is. Like, it's really good at showing you different ways of looking at Amazon and trying to understand and find new products and understand the data. So the bits of information you want to look at are how much money is a product making, what's the search volume for a different keyword, can you compete for a keyword, can you get onto page 1? That's really important. These are things you need to be doing when you're doing the analysis for your product idea. Now, when you're doing this product research, what you need to be thinking all the time you need to be thinking, can you make a point of difference for your product? Can you make your product stand out from the crowd? For example, could you do a different color? Could you do a different size? Could you do a different package size? Like, could you do more in a package? Could you bundle your products with someone else, like the bowl and the spoons? Always be thinking about how you can make your product stand out from the crowd, because you don't want to just compete with what's on Amazon on a like-for-like basis. Now, once you've had these product ideas, what you need to do is work out how you're going to source them. And for that, you need to find a place that makes products. Now, the absolute daddy for sourcing products is Alibaba. Without a doubt, it's the biggest sourcing website in the world. If you haven't been on it before, it's absolutely going to blow your mind. It is so amazing, such an amazing website. You get so much inspiration for how to make products. Now, one thing I wouldn't recommend is just finding a product on Alibaba and putting it straight onto Amazon. I think that is risky because you could end up putting something on Amazon that is already there, or it's on its way to Amazon. You know, a lot of these suppliers, they are a bit, a lot of them aren't that honest with you. They might just say to you that their product isn't on Amazon yet, even if it is. So how Alibaba works is you can search for a manufacturer for the product that you're looking for. So let's have a look at it now. So for example, I can type in here, coconut cups. Let's see what comes up. Now, here you go. Here's your coconut cups. So you can see all these suppliers. They've got some prices on here. I generally just ignore these prices a bit because everything is negotiable on Alibaba, but you can find these different product ideas. Now, what you've got here is you could even get an idea for a new type of product, like a coconut cup and saucer. Sounds a bit weird to me, but could be a good idea for products. Now, this is one way of finding a product, but I think you remember that I said before about also going to trade shows. Now, trade shows are absolutely incredible. They're really fun because you get to go to meet the suppliers, go to different countries, and also you can find way more suppliers that aren't actually on Alibaba yet. And this could be a great way of making yourself stand out from the crowd. Now, I've been to trade shows all over the world. I've been to ones in Frankfurt, I've been to ones in India, I've been to ones in Vietnam. And if you are interested in sourcing from these trade shows, definitely check out 10 Times, like I was talking about before. It's a great way to do it. But there are also some other sites you can use. For example, I've got a friend called Konark who works at a website called Rural Handmade. And Rural Handmade is a website that is much more specialist for handmade products. and it's all about sourcing handmade products from India. It's a really fantastic resource, and there's other websites just like that where you can get ideas for where to source products from. Now, one thing you need to do with Alibaba and other sourcing websites is you need to contact quite a few people in order to make sure that you're gonna get a good quote for a product. Now, I always like to literally contact like 30 manufacturers in order to try and get a good quote, especially on Alibaba, because not all of them will respond to you. So you want to make sure you're speaking to a lot of them so that you can make sure you've got a response. And then once you've got those responses, you need to have a look and compare the difference in prices. And once you've got those prices, you need to work out the profitability. Now, we're going to come on to the profitability in a second, but there's a few things that you need to factor in. But basically, a high level thing that you should be looking at is that you want to be able to, the sale price should be about 5 times what you pay for it. So say you go to source coconut cups and it's $2 for 4 cups. You need to be selling that for at least $10 in order to be profitable once you factor in the fees. Now, it's a very rough example, but it's quite a good way of working out quickly whether you think something could be worth pursuing or not. And once you've spoken to all these suppliers, you need to order samples. Now, ordering samples is really fun. I always try to order samples from maybe 2 or 3 of the people I've spoken to on Alibaba, because you want to see the quality up front, you want to make sure that the quality is good. And I always want to make the samples actual production samples, so the versions of the products I'm actually making. The reason for this is, firstly, it's fun to see your designs come through the post, but secondly, you could then use those products to take a photo for your listings. And so it's a really good way of getting photos, and you can take the photos yourself then, so that you can make your photos look really, really good. And once you've ordered your samples, the next thing you need to think about is shipping. So you need to get your products from China or wherever you're sourcing from, all the way over to the US or the UK or wherever you're going to be selling them. Now, for this, there are a few ways of doing it. Firstly, you could ask your manufacturer if they do something called DDP. And DDP stands for Delivery and Duty Paid. And this means the manufacturer handles all of the shipping from beginning to end, and they make the products, they get it on the boats, they pay the taxes when it gets to the other end. Now, this is quite a good way of doing it at first, because it's much less complicated than actually doing it all yourself. But if you are going to organise the shipping yourself, because not all manufacturers will do DDP, you need to organise for a freight forwarder. Now, a freight forwarder is basically like a travel agent, but for shipping. So when you go on a holiday with the boys to Magaluf and you go and stay in a hotel and you get flown there, but you just pay one person. Now, the travel company doesn't own the flights, they don't own the pool party, they don't own the hotel. They just organise for it all to happen, then take a fee. Now, a freight forwarder is a bit like that, and you don't need to organise all the different bits yourself. You can just get a freight forwarder to handle those for you. Now, I go into this in way more detail in my course. It's quite complex, but make sure you're choosing a good freight forwarder, because they're going to be your partner in the long run. Now, once you've got all this information, the next thing you need to work out is your profitability. Now, your profitability is basically your COGS, or your cost of goods, which is the cost of the item plus the shipping. And then on top of that, you've got the fees, and whatever you've got left after the sale price is your net profit. Now, what you should do is put this all into a spreadsheet, and then you can work out what your profit is. Now, you know what your fees are, you know what your cost of goods are, because you've organised your freight forwarder and you've organised the manufacturing of your product, but you don't necessarily know your fees. And for that, you need another tool in Helium 10, which is called the Profitability Calculator. So if I go back to Amazon here, and I go to a listing, so I'll go back to this one again, then the Profitability Calculator is one of the tools at the top of Helium 10. So you can actually just click on this button, just as I accessed X-Ray before, and you can then click on the section that says Profitability Calculator here. And what this is going to do is it's going to show you your fees for the different size of your product. So the FBA fee for this product is $3.47. So there's 2 fees that you need to think about. There's the referral fee, which is basically your commission, and there is the FBA fee. Now, these are the 2 main fees. There are some other smaller fees, like your monthly storage costs, and these are a lot smaller. The main 2 fees are your FBA fee and your referral fee. Now, the referral fee is the commission. You pay this whether you're doing FBA or not. So if you're doing all the shipping yourself, you still pay your referral fee. Now, for most categories, this is 15%. So it's 15% of the sale price. But you've also got your FBA fee. Now, the FBA fee is dependent on the size and the weight of the product, not the value. So say you're selling a kilogram of polystyrene, the FBA fee is going to be really high because it's massive. If you're selling a diamond ring, the FBA fee could be really small. Even though the value of the product is expensive, the size of it is tiny. So it would actually be a lot less. So this is how you can work it out. And you can see on here, you've got the fee for this product is $3.47. But if I raise the size of this to 12 inches, for example, the fee stays the same. But if I then change the weight to a pound, then you can see the fee's gone up. So you can play around with this tool and you can see exactly how it works. Once you've got these numbers, I like to put them into a spreadsheet. Now, I've got a whole section on profitability, but if you want to have access to a sheet that I use to work out your profitability, I've got a link to that in the show notes, which should help you out loads with documenting all of these fees that you need to work out. But once you've worked out your profitability, then you're like, okay, I've found a product I like, I've assessed it, I think it's good, I've found a manufacturer and the price is okay, I've found a freight forwarder and I think the price is okay, I've worked out what the fees are, I've put them into profitability sheets, I'm now thinking I'm profitable and I know how much money I'm going to make on each sale. That means you can then go on to the next step, which is placing your order. Now, placing your order is one of the most important parts. And what I like to do is always just, I try and pay through Alibaba at first if you can, because then you've got some reassurance that Alibaba are on your side. But I always like to do 30% up front and then 70% when it's finished. I'm happy with 50-50, but I'd rather go 30-70. 50-50 is the absolute maximum I would do, especially for a first order. I think it's just good for trust, for the two of you. You want to trust them that they're going to finish it on time, and they want to trust you that you have got the money to pay for it. Now, once you've done that, you'll actually need to then go on to the next step, which is creating a shipping plan. Now, this is all done within Amazon, but in order to create the shipping plan, you need to have an account with Seller Central. Now, I've got a video all about applying for an account. It can be a bit tricky, so make sure you're doing it right. So check out that video afterwards. But once you've done that, you then need to create a shipping plan. And that's you basically telling Amazon where you're going to have your stock sent to. So once you've created that, Amazon will tell you, they'll give you a warehouse within the US or within the UK for where your stock's going to be sent. You can then give these stickers to your manufacturer to put onto the boxes that are going to be sent to Amazon. Now, once you've done all this and you've found your products, you've found a manufacturer, you've worked out the profitability, you've got your shipping plan and you've got your labels and you've sent them to your manufacturer, the freight forwarder has got the stuff on the way. The next thing you need to do is to start marketing your product. Now, the first thing you need to do obviously is write your listings. Now, to write your listings, you need to do the keyword research. Now, the keyword research we kind of touched on earlier on Cerebro, but you need to find the keywords that customers are searching for to find your products. And remember, you want to get on page 1. Now, once you've found these keywords, you want to put them into your listing so that the Amazon algorithm can pick up your products and show them to customers. So you want to make sure that you've got a really nice title that's got keywords in it, but also reads really nicely and sells your products for you. Remember, the title is the first thing that a customer will see. We'll have a look at a listing here, if you like, to go through it. But this is the title here. You want to make it really descriptive to show the customer exactly what they're going to be getting. So in there, you could put the color, the size, you could put the main keyword. So for this one, it would be coconut bowl. Then once you've done that, you also need to write your bullet points. Now, these are called the key product features. I don't actually know if this one's any good. I didn't think about what this product would be before I went on. But these bullet points here are a chance for you to sell your products to the customers. So you can really talk about the benefits of your products and why yours are so much better than everyone else's. So this is a really good place to say what's better about yours than the others, what size is it, what you can use it for. Really try to get your customers to visualize themselves owning it. And once you've done that, you can then also do the product description, which is further down the page. Now, this product actually doesn't have a description in it, but the description is a really good place for you to again, tell the customers more about your brand and exactly what it is that makes you better than your competition. Remember, when you're writing your listings, you don't want to be just stuffing it with keywords, because it's really important that a person can actually read it as well. It's more important that a person can read it than the algorithm. So yes, you do want to put lots of keywords in there, but you want to make sure that it's readable and you're selling the products to your customers. But even more important than the listing, in my opinion, is the images. Now, the images are going to be what converts your products from being something boring to being something great, and it will really convert the buyers when they're looking at your page. Now, lots of people shop using images alone, so what you can do is different types of images to sell your products. I've done a whole video on different types of images, and I've got a link to that in the show notes. But if we have a look at these pictures here, so the main image needs to be on a white background like this, and this is important. Amazon are quite strict on this. They like the pictures being on a white background, but you can use a bit of shadow like this one here. And you want to make it big enough so that it can be zoomed in. And then you can include some lifestyle photos. So these ones aren't that great, they're okay, but they don't really show people using it. They don't show what like food inside. You want to show people using it so that they can visualize themselves owning it themselves. Now, this is quite a good image because it shows you the size of the product. So always show the size of the product on there, again, so people can visualize themselves owning the product. Now, once you've written your listings, you've got the products on their way to Amazon, and you're happy with the listings, you're happy with the pictures, the next thing you need to do is think about your ranking. Now, in order to get your products ranking, you need to make sales. But in order to make sales, you need to have some rank. Now, it's all a bit of a vicious circle, and that's why you can artificially inflate your rank using sponsorship or pay-per-click. Now, we did touch on this earlier, but you can get your products to the top of the page by using a little bit of sponsorship. Now, PPC is quite a big topic, and we're not going to go into it too much detail in this section, but what you can do is you basically bid on different keywords to get your products to the top of the page. And that's why it's important that you've done that keyword research before, so you can work out which keywords you want to be bidding for. And think about which keywords you're going to put in your campaign. Are they the ones that you want to rank for? And this is really important. So think about the search volume. Like, is it worth ranking for a keyword if it's only got one person searching for it a month? Use Cerebro to try and find keywords that will help your products to get more of a rank. And the next thing you need to do is get reviews. Now, in order to get reviews, one of the things you can do is put a little insert inside your product. Now, I've done another video on packaging, which again is in the show notes, but you can put a little card in your product saying, thanks for your purchase, we really appreciate your review. Just be careful with this because there are rules around what you can and can't put in there. So you don't want to get banned by Amazon, like they will ban you, but you do want to make sure that you're asking for a review. You can't ask for a good review, you can just ask for a review. So now, once you've done all that, you should start making sales. So that was quite a long video, but let me just go into a summary of everything we talked about. First thing is you need to have a product idea. This is the cornerstone of your whole business. This is the start of your strategy. Once you've had that product idea, you need to evaluate it. For that, you can use X-Ray or Cerebro to find keywords or to find what the sales are. If you can't find an idea, you could use Kickstarter, or you could use Pinterest, or you could use Etsy or Google Images to find some ideas for what people are looking for. You could also use Blackbox, which is where you can put in the different criteria for different products. Now, once you've done that, you need to find a supplier. And for that, you can go to trade shows, or you can use Alibaba. Both of these are great places to find suppliers. You could also use Google to find local suppliers. And once you've done that, you need to work out how to get the shipping, how to get your products to Amazon's warehouses. Once you're doing that, you also need to think about your profitability and how much money you're going to make. This is really important because obviously this is a business and you want to work out how much money you're going to make. And once you know what your profitability is, you know what your shipping times are, you need to think about your marketing. So you need to write your listing and take amazing photos. Now, if you do all of this correctly and you get your strategy right with the PPC, there's no reason why you can't find a product that is going to be a super massive success. Now, I hope you found that video helpful. I post lots of videos about Amazon every week, so if you found that helpful, please do subscribe to my channel. And if you've got any questions, I love answering questions about Amazon. I'm a bit of a nerd about this, so please just put questions in the chat below or in the comments below, or send me an email. But I hope you enjoyed that video, and I shall see you on the next one.